Now, one of the things that has been giving China some pretty good momentum into stocks, or what led into the rally that we saw 2 months back, when Nio went up from $3.60 to over $7. It was, of course, because of the stimulus that China announced, or the stimulus that was supposed to come from China. This led into so many of the big financial institutions or investors coming in and flocking in and flooding the Chinese equities like Nio, which resulted into the share price of Nio to, of course, rally or to skyrocket, which is something that obviously it was good to see. Now, the reason why I'm reminding you about that is that today we just read that China has begun annual economic meeting to hash out a stimulus plan. This two-day meeting, apparently it will be focused on setting out a policy agenda for next year, and apparently economic targets growth are likely to be announced only in March. So yeah, man, this is an article coming from Bloomberg, and if you remember, Bloomberg has been saying quite positive things about the Chinese stimulus, to say that we are to expect some very good things. Though right now we might not be seeing the rain or the positives coming from China, but it will rain. This is what Bloomberg said a couple of weeks ago, to say that the stimulus is real. China is doing, it's going to make sure that they implement the stimulus, which will not only grow the economy but also boost the share price of our favorite stocks or Chinese equities like Nio, because they are going to also pump money or put in money into the Chinese equities like Nio, which will result into a massive short squeeze onto our favorite stocks or Chinese equities like Nio. So getting to read this, I think it shows you that they are not just doing this, they are really quite serious about the stimulus, and this hash out stimulus plan, which will be a 2 days event, it's going to unlock, or it might unlock, some very good positives, and we look forward to that. The stimulus is there. China will buy their own stocks. Interest rates have started dropping, and consumers will have more buying power next year, which as a result of this, they will be able to afford cars like Nio, because the government is also giving out subsidies to those that are buying EV cars or EV stocks like Nio. So I am happy about this. I think we just need to brace ourselves for what's coming. 2025, it will be a very good year for the Chinese economy, because they are going to do whatever they can to give a boost onto the economy. They are going to do whatever they can next year to continue supporting the new energy vehicle market, which that will make Nio to forever be having some cars to deliver, which is always good to see. The Chinese government being serious, the Chinese government preparing for next year, which is pretty good. You'll remember that in Q4 right now, there is already something that China planned for their economy, trying to boost their Q4 GDP figures, which obviously we will see how it goes. But right now we're in December, and hopefully car companies like Nio can do the most, which is what is expected of them anyways, right now in Q4, and they grow the Chinese economy. I mean, there is an article, I think just after the November deliveries, I think it came on the 2nd, where it was highlighted that all the new energy vehicle car makers, Nio, Zeekr, Li Auto, Xiaomi, Xpeng, and the others, they are preparing record-breaking deliveries for the month of December, meaning that whatever the deliveries that we are going to see this month, it is going to be, of course, pretty good. It will be pretty exciting, even for our very own Nio. Nio is going to report record-breaking deliveries. In fact, Nio expects to deliver 30,500 and we hope to see that takes place. So yeah, man, this annual meeting which China just began to hash out the stimulus plan, I think it will bring out some pretty good things. I mean, China may increase policy support in the next 2 years, given the prospect of higher US tariffs. This is what we also discussed about 2 days ago, to say that China continues increasing their policy support in the next 2 years, given the prospects of higher US tariffs, which is something that I think it's good for China, because US is trying their best to keep China out, or to slow down China's growth, right? But China is also retaliating by not giving US some of the precious metals or minerals, which is something that obviously it will, we don't know how long it will drag, but hopefully things get resolved and things get better with time. But the good thing about this whole situation of tariffs, one thing that the US sometimes is not aware, even the EU Commission, they are not aware, is that say for instance, stopping Nvidia from giving out or selling some of the chips to Chinese EV makers or to Chinese tech companies. They don't realize that it's making China to be strong. It's a short-term plan that will hurt China, but China has started producing. They are spending a lot on R&Ds trying to produce their own chips in-house. I mean, Nio, to our favorite stock, Nio, it's one of the companies that have started producing their own chips in-house, because they see those threats, or the threats that comes with companies like Nvidia being stopped from sharing certain chips to China, which that, like I said, in as much as it will slow down maybe some of the companies of China in the short term, but in the long term, and that is 3-5 years, most of these car companies will be producing their own chips. All of the chips that they use on the car, they will be producing them in-house, which it will be so great, it will be so good, and the tariffs won't hurt the countries like China that much, which Nio in the long term, it will make them to win. To know that Nio has started producing their own chips, it is a very good initiative. To know that Nio will be also producing their own battery, it is a good initiative, because not only will that of course be a backup, or will make them not to be impacted by, of course, restrictions or tariff restrictions or parts restrictions from countries outside of China. It will also improve their gross margins, which is something that as investors we want to see, something that as investors we have been, of course, eyeing this for the very longest time. So tell me what you think, man. This is good news, and I thought I give them to you. Stimulus is the real, it will rain, and it will boost the Chinese economy, whilst on the other hand boosting the share price of Nio, because brokers will be buying Chinese equities, Chinese banks will be buying Chinese equities listed even on the New York Stock Exchange, which that will result into Nio, of course, share price short squeezing, who knows where, but we'll see as time unfolds. Otherwise, do your own DD. That's all from me. I wish you nothing but the best. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'll see you on my next video, and God bless you all.